Alright guys, my name is Goblin, and today we're going to be answering one very simple question. Do you need fire resistance gear for Blackwing Lair? Just before we jump in guys, if you want to catch me live streaming Blackwing Lair next Wednesday, then be sure to give me a quick follow on Twitch. But anyway, let's jump into the video. So most people watching a video are probably instantly thinking the answer to that question is no. You can very easily wing it with a greater fire protection potion. And that is fair enough, most people are able to do that, but if you look at a greater fire protection potion on the auction house on my server, they cost, the cheapest is 12 gold there, but they're mostly selling for about 13 gold, 89 silver, which is pretty much the average price of 14 gold. I don't know about you guys, but 14 gold is quite a lot of money for me because I don't have a lot of time to just be farming gold over and over again. The only reason why I have 435 gold right now is because I got really lucky with selling a BOE item. So it's a lot of gold to be spending on consumables every single week for your raid. You know, you're looking at easily about 100 gold per raid probably. I think I spent about 100 gold stacking up consumables for about 2 raids, but I only bought the normal fire protection potions, and that was before last week's raid. So yeah, you are probably looking at, you know, even 100 to 150 gold per raid if you are buying all those greater fire protection potions. If you have the time to farm that amount of gold, or the simple attention span to farm that amount of gold, which I really don't personally, because there's a lot of people who play World of Warcraft out there like me who just do not have the attention span to sit playing the game farming gold for hours and hours, then there is, as far as I can see, a slightly better option. And this is why I would actually recommend going for some fire resistance gear. If I press Ctrl 2 on the keyboard right now, I automatically equip my fire resistance set, which has 134 fire resistance. I'm trying to get this to about 150. With a fire resistance set, you will, well, first of all, you probably won't have to buy all the greater fire protection potions, and you can probably live with buying fire protection potions, which will save you a bit of money. That's basically my plan. I just kind of live on fire protection potions and fire resistance gears on the bosses that I know are going to be really heavy on the fire damage. But even if you do have the money to spend loads of money on greater fire protection potions, I still think it is worth farming a decent fire resistance set, because you may be in a situation where you're in the middle of a raid night and you simply run out of consumables. Okay, this has happened to me before, but I've been okay because I've just equipped my fire resistance set and I've managed to basically get through the content without dying. Because obviously, if you do put fire resistance gear on, you're massively going to nerf your DPS, but you're massively going to nerf your DPS if you spend half a fight dead. So it is much more important to actually stay alive. This is why I always recommend to have a little bit of fire resistance gear stacked up on a separate set that you keep on your bags when you go raiding, just as like a little bit of a backup, just in case you run out of consumables, or just in case the raid or the encounter itself is just simply too difficult. Maybe your healers are slacking a little bit, maybe your healers don't have as much experience as you do, and you know the healing isn't as good as you want it to be. Then it may be obviously beneficial if you have a bit of fire resistance on you stacked up. So my main advice is to always just keep it in your bags as a little bit of a backup. Obviously it's important to note that paladins will give you an extra 60 fire resistance. I don't have a precise number that shamans give you with their totems, but I imagine it's roughly the same. So obviously if you have a decent number of paladins and shamans in your raid group, you won't have to stack up as many fire resistance, especially if the raid leader is intelligent enough to spread those paladins and shamans throughout the raid, particularly the melee groups. Because the recommended amount for rogues to have is 150 fire resistance, DPS warriors it's 200, obviously for tanks it's much higher, and then for ranged it's 100. So my character would only need 90 fire resistance unbuffed. I have 134 unbuffed at the moment, but I just like to be like over prepared a little bit just in case. When it comes to choosing gear, you kind of have to be intelligent about which gear pieces are going to nerf your DPS the most. So for instance, I have the Wildfire Cape here, which has 20 fire resistance on it, but I'm only sacrificing 6 strength and 14 agility because I still have this crap cape because I've been really unlucky with cape drops. Whereas like if I'm putting 25 resistance on my ring here, I'm sacrificing Pain Weaver and the Elven Ring? Yeah, Tarnished Elven Ring. So that's going to be quite a DPS drop, and you may want to prioritize really good gear pieces like the Royal Seal of Eldrifalas, which has that cheeky little bit of fire resistance and 2% hit, which is a really good bump to your DPS, rather than obviously having Swift Hand of Justice, because this will get you the fire resistance that you need without sacrificing your DPS too much. Obviously there are best in slot gear pieces as well, like the Nixie Tooth Pendant, Knight's Lair cover, which essentially already have quite a fat chunk of fire resistance already on them, because I'm getting 20 from that, and that's pretty Bob's your uncle. But anyway, let's summarise the video. I think my conclusion is, if you want to save a little bit of money and you want to be extra prepared for Blackwing Lair, then definitely get some fire resistance gear. If you want to totally wing it and you're rich and you can afford buying loads and loads of greater fire protection potions, then just buy greater fire protection potions. Because if you can afford to pre-pot a greater fire protection potion, which is going to give you like 3k absorption of fire damage, and then you can pop another one in the middle of the fight as well, you're going to get 6k absorption on fire damage, which is obviously pretty good. And yeah, but obviously that's going to cost you like 30 gold per pull. If you can afford that, then go for it, because in my eyes that's like 1 hour of gold farming for one boss pull, so I don't personally think that it's entirely worth it. That's why I'd prefer to stack fire resistance gear. I mean, when you do stack fire resistance over 100, then you do tend to notice, especially when it's stacked with the paladin buff, how much damage you do negate, because a lot of the time you are fully resisting really big fire hits because of the way fire resistance works. It's quite complicated, but it doesn't reduce like the amount of damage taken. It just has a chance every time you're hit by fire damage to totally negate the damage. So sometimes you're blocking, you know, it could be up to like 3000 damage with your fire resistance, because you had that increased chance to just totally resist the damage. So in my opinion, I think fire resistance is definitely worth investing into, just again as that security insurance backup. But anyway, my name is Metagoblin. Until my next video, ciao.